Welcome to SF Jazz.
All right. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Thank you for coming out on a Saturday. It's beautiful outside. This is our summer, right? It's summer, October, other people's winter or fall, but our summer, it's always beautiful this time of year. And we have a beautiful program for you. I'm going to introduce the cats that are performing with me, and some that have been playing with me for a long time, some I haven't actually played with in a long time, and some that I've been playing with a lot recently. And I'm going to start with this gentleman who is also a brand new father, Mr. Greg Jacobs on piano. And on trumpet tonight, one of my dear friends, we've been playing together for a couple decades. It's one of our great trumpet players today, Mr. Mike Olmos. And this young man on drums, we used to play together, oh man, a lot, like every day, 25 years ago. And, we haven't actually played, we played together about 2 months ago, I think it was, with Howard Wiley. And just a great cat. He's teaching in the East Bay. He's got a couple kids now, and just South Bay. And just a sweetheart of a cat, swinging drummer, Mr. Jemal Ramirez. And the gentleman who I have known the longest, yes, since 1993 or 2 or something like that. In Los Angeles, we came up together in a group called Black Note, and he's gone on and played with many of the great artists and musicians in the history of this music. And he just relocated back to the Bay Area a couple years ago. Great alto player, great tenor player, great flute player, baritone, alto flute, all the reeds. Anybody looking for lessons? This is the cat right here, Mr. Vieux. So, this is a family matinee, and I have to thank Rebecca Molion and SFJAZZ because Rebecca gave me an opportunity to do a family matinee concert, I'm going to say about 15, 16 years ago when SFJAZZ didn't even have a building yet, and we were doing a lot of them over at the Herbst Theater, and I was like, sure, I didn't really know what to do. I'm like, I'm just going to play for some young folks and talk about the music, and I fell in love with that experience, and so we continue that today. And today we're going to talk about a great composer, musician, piano player, and just one of the historical figures of this music, and his name is Thelonious Monk. Thelonious Monk. One of the great names of this music, too. You got to admit that, Thelonious Monk. And, there's so much information. I'm not going to give you a history lesson about Thelonious Monk, because you can go online, go on YouTube, and you can find a lot of video, a lot of education around Thelonious Monk. But I will say his music is influenced heavily by other great musicians, such as Duke Ellington. You hear a lot of, who's clapping over there? I like that. There we go. I've got a Duke Ellington fan. By the way, we're doing Duke Ellington's Nutcracker Suite in December, so look for that, end of December. But anyway, big influence on Thelonious' music. He did a whole record of Duke Ellington pieces. So we're going to play, different compositions from the repertoire of the great Thelonious Monk, one of my favorite cats. And his music is very playful. That's the first thing you're going to recognize. I'm going to come back and ask a few questions about what else did you hear. So when you're listening, just kind of listen to the sound of the music, the rhythm of the music, the harmony of the music. Maybe there's some crunchiness in the music, but nonetheless, it all swings. So this was one of his early pieces, not a piece that particularly is, the most popular piece. That he has a lot of famous pieces. This one would not be one of those, but it's one of his early pieces. It's called Hornin' In, and it was early on in his career as a composer and musician, Hornin' In. Thank you very much. Thank you. So that was called Hornin' In. And Thelonious Monk, one of the most interesting names ever, had very interesting titles to his pieces. Like that one, Hornin' In. I'm not even exactly what that means, but that's one of many. Now, you heard a lot of different things happen in that piece. You heard us play what's called the melody or the theme. And then you heard, I play a little bit of the theme right there, just the A section. So, very simple melody, a lot of crunchy notes in it, but kind of what Monk does, what we do there is we play that, and then we play what's called different solos. So you saw everybody in the band take a solo, and it's based on the same chords that you just heard Greg play right there. And then we did something with the drums, and we call that trading. And so sometimes you heard the saxophone play, then the band would stop and let the drums solo. So that's one way of featuring the drums. And that's part of how we communicate on stage, and sometimes you hear us play like that on different pieces. Sometimes it's just one soloist. Sometimes there's no soloist. And so I'll talk a little bit and unpack what we're doing so you young folks can kind of like, what are we listening to? And why is that dude soloed and that person's not? Well, it's like a conversation. And we all get a chance to talk during our time period. And when we're not talking, we're kind of like the people at church that go, amen, all right, say that. We support. And so that's how we have this sort of ongoing communication with this beautiful music. So we're going to keep going. Like I said, Thelonious, he really liked different names for titles. You know, I don't know where he got this one from, but it's called Well, You Needn't. Well, You Needn't. I can only imagine. Maybe he was telling somebody, well, you needn't do that. I'm not sure. But it's one of his most popular pieces, I can tell you that. It's one of the first ones I learned as a young musician. righty. Thank you very much. That was Well You Needn't. Something I'm sure every parent has in their vocabulary. You're going to learn that real quick, Greg. Greg just had a baby girl. Baby boy. Oh, baby boy. About how old now?
About 2 months.
2 months old. Yeah. I can tell you he's going to be a great father because he's just a great person. You just see it. I can see it. But you're going to learn that phrase, well, you needn't. Thelonious Monk spent a lot of time in San Francisco throughout his career. He was based out of New York. He was born in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, moved to New York, was a big part of this movement that we heard called the bebop movement, with Dizzy Gillespie and Coleman Hawkins and Charlie Parker, of course, Bud Powell, Max Roach, a lot of other cats. Thelonious Monk was right there, Minton's Playhouse. But he later on in his life, he did spend a lot of time here in San Francisco, so much so that he wrote a song about San Francisco. And it has two titles. One's called San Francisco Holiday, and the other one's called Worry Later. What's that? Yeah. San Francisco Holiday, Worry Later. So yeah, I think that was kind of his, I think that's how he saw life. Yeah, worry about it later. So, and this is great because this is an arrangement by the great Miguel Zenon, who is a big part of this place. He's a key member of the San Francisco Jazz Collective. Yeah, let's give it up. Let's give him some love. Miguel Zenon, and just one of our great alto saxophone players and composers, and just a great person. He's a great person. Look him up. This is an arrangement he did on a record that SFJAZZ Collective did back in the 10th year anniversary of this building. So we're going to play that for you. He did it for the Collective, which has, I think, 8 or 9 players. So this is a reduction of it for 5 players. All right. All right. Hey, let's show some love for the great Miguel Zenón and his arrangement, San Francisco Holiday by the great Thelonious Monk. And, we had to play that one because that's our city here. We love San Francisco. Monk did a whole record here, Solo Monk, and you could see him on one of the trolley cars. And so look that one up. That's a great record. We're going to continue on with a piece that Monk composed. Musicians love this piece, but it's not a piece that gets played that often, I can say that. And he wrote it somewhere in the middle of his career. And it's titled Crisscross, Crisscross. So you're going to hear a lot of lines crisscrossing back and forth with each other throughout this music. And we play it. We also have 2 different tempo changes. So I want you to be listening for a lot of different things. I want you to listen for solos, young people. I want you to listen for improvisation. I want you to listen to who's soloing. And I want you to listen to the lines that are going back and forth. And then I want you to listen for tempo changes. It's going to be going kind of medium, fast, and then all of a sudden it's going to go kind of medium, slow. So kind of pay attention to those different things in this piece called Crisscross. All right. So that was called Crisscross by Thelonious Monk. That was one of our arrangements of that piece. And this next piece is an original piece. And if you play this music, if you try to write this music, then unquestionably you will be somehow influenced by Thelonious Monk. You'll be influenced even if you're not trying, because his music is that intoxicating, and you're always trying to find those little gems that Thelonious found in his music. You're like trying to find that in your music, whether it's just the chords that he used, the angular melodies that he used, or just that buoyant feeling of swing that lifts you up. I think that might be the greatest part of this music, is the essence of the blues that lifts you up. And Thelonious had that in his music. He had that in his music. And so we're going to play this, and then we're going to let y'all ask a couple questions. All right? No politics. No politics. That was the old Marcus Shelby. No. You don't want to hear it. I got it. But you can ask questions about the music, about, the instrument that any of us are performing, of course, how long we've been playing it and things like that. But maybe other questions like how much do you practice, or who's some of your favorite musicians? So young folks, I want you to think about it. After we play this piece, we're going to open it up for some questions. Monk in the City.
Marcus Shelby, composition, City of Monk. Woo! All right, so this is the opportunity that you have to ask questions of anybody on the bandstand. So if you could just raise your hand, and then I'll call on you, you say your question loudly, and then I will repeat it on the microphone. Right here, yes, go ahead. What is crunchy music? Can we give her a round of applause for that question?
That's one you can answer.
All right, well, let's put it this way. Would you mind playing some minor seconds and major sevenths and just a couple of minors? Yeah.
Without the crunch, and then play it with the crunch.
So this is crunch free.
This is crunch free.
Crunchy. Yes, all right. And you could say that in prior years we would have considered that to be dissonant, and of course in jazz there is no dissonance. It's all consonants. It's all beautiful. What a great question. All right. Anybody up in the nosebleed section up there? Yes, right up there. Marcus, how do you stay in the pocket for all of your lines?
That's a good question. I will say that is the most important thing. And I always think the bass is the heartbeat of almost all styles of music, but certainly in blues and swing. And just like the heart, you don't want these cats thinking about if your heart is beating on time or not. You know, that's one of those involuntary muscles that just handles its job, you know, unthankful, you know, but it shows up to work with a lunch pail and plays the pulse on every piece. And that's, you know, doesn't take all the solos, it's not out front, but it's guarding the time. And so that's the thing I've been working on in my 40 plus years, is just having a solid time, heartbeat time that is from the ground up, because everything comes from the bass. Most important instrument on the bandstand.
Yeah. In case you didn't know.
Okay, I didn't say it was the best instrument. I said it's the most important. Because everything, no, seriously, because the harmony is rooted in the bass, the melody is regulated by the bass, and the rhythm is certainly kind of managed by the bass. And so all those things are very important in any style of music. That's a good question.
Wonderful question. Yes, way up there, I see you with the cap on. Say it nice and loud. Can you say that one more time a little bit louder? How long did you have to practice?
Well, with my students, especially when it's the first lesson, they ask me, how much do I need to practice? And my immediate answer is, well, how good do you want to get? You know? Some people are more naturally talented than others. Either way, if you put in the work, it will show more than those who don't work as hard at it. So I'd say the more you practice, the more likely you're going to get better at it.
Great answer. Thank you, Mike. Let me see anybody over on this side. Right over here. Go ahead. Nice and loud so I can hear. How do you practice? Ooh, that could be for anybody.
I'm going to give that to Greg.
There you go.
Well, there's a lot of different ways you can practice. You know, if you're studying with a good teacher, they probably have some good advice on what you should be working on. I know when we're studying this music, often we play along to recordings and listen to the recordings and listen as much as we can. You know, you work on your technique and understanding the harmony of what you're doing and the theory. But, you know, just practice with discipline and patience and honesty and be honest with yourself about what are your weak spots and go straight to those and kind of work on them right away. I mean, I don't know, I think it's a little different for everybody.
I'll give you a little slogan. If you want to get somewhere fast, you got to practice slow. All right? You want to get there fast, you want to get good fast, you got to practice slow. And take it one measure at a time, 2 measures. I'm going to just tell you, because like Mike said, some people, they just are supernaturally talented when they're young for whatever reason. And I wasn't that person, but I practice. And if you practice, I guarantee you'll get better. But you got to go slow. And you can't go on somebody else's timeline. You got to go on your timeline, all right? And have a long, this is for everyone, have a long vision about where you want to go, all right? And then it becomes fun. Then you're not worried about if, because things will happen where there might be a setback or things might be going slow. But if you have a long vision and you have a plan and you go slow, you'll get there. I guarantee that. You'll get there.
Great question. Thank you so much. And then you've had your hand up for a very long time. Say your question nice and loud. When was this place built? We opened in January of 2013. So how old are we? The organization has been around for over 40 years, but this building was built, and we opened on Martin Luther King Day in 2013. And isn't this a special place? Don't you just love it in here? And I just want to say, can we do a big shout out to our incredible production crew for all the beautiful sound, the visuals. It takes a village, and we're so blessed. We're so fortunate to be here. We wish we could answer all of your questions, but we definitely want to hear one more song before we go today. So can we give another round of applause to Mr. Marcus Shelby and these wonderful musicians? One more song.
Thank you. Well, we began with a Monk tune that wasn't very well-known or popular, but we're going to close with probably the most popular song by Thelonious Monk, and not only that, they made a whole movie about it. It's called Round Midnight. Have our slides been? I want to send a shout out to my great colleague. We've been working together for a very long time. Andy Wong. She created the slides for our show, and she works with us quite a bit. We'll be doing the Nutcracker, I think it's December 22nd. Whatever, is that? Yeah, December 22nd. So do come out. We'll have Tiffany Austin with us and the big band. We're going to finish on Round Midnight. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Terrence Blanchard here. Thanks for watching and for your support of SF Jazz at Home. We hope you enjoyed the concert, and there's a lot more to watch right here, in addition to dozens more concerts available on demand. We've got a great Fridays live streaming schedule coming up. Most of these live streams will be added to the on-demand library within a week. We also have a bunch of new video series to check out. Drop the Needle, where we test the musical knowledge of artists with classic vinyl records. In My Mind, where you enter the mind of an artist while they improvise. The Breakdown, where artists break down a musical concept at 3 levels of difficulty. And Family Matinees, where the Bay Area's best musicians give kid-friendly concerts with a Q&A. Last note, if you dig the SF Jazz at Home experience, tell your people. Our mission is to bring this music to as many folks as possible all around the world. Again, thanks for your support, and stay tuned.